Welcome everybody to the next project. We're at episode 4 of the Epiphone 335 Mighty Mac Reneck project series, and yet the Reneck project is taking a turn. It's now a major body overhaul as well. What's going on? Let's find out as we start the next project. Well, it looks like we're going to be doing a little bit of filing, rasping, sanding, fun stuff, right? Everybody loves sanding, filing. Ooh, blurry camera work. This is a Shinto rasp. If you're not familiar with the Shinto rasp, it is kind of like a bunch of hacksaw blades bent and stuck together. There's two different sides to it. One side is kind of a finer cut. The other side is kind of a coarse cut, and it actually works really well. There I was using a little shape gauge. I printed up, 3D printed. Worked with the owner of this guitar to come up with a shape that he wants. It's a little bit rounder, heavier, fatter on the bass side, a little more tapered on the treble side. And I created that little guide to slip over the neck to see how close I'm getting to the final shape we want. So we've been doing a lot of filing and sanding and rasping, and we're getting closer, just a little bit closer, but it goes back on the beam. And, well, look at that. We're actually sanding. That's crazy. Who does sanding anymore? This beam that I have, it mounts to the end of my bench, and then I clamp the neck to it. So it's completely free. I can get in and under and around it. Really nice. Taking just a little break from sanding, even though everybody loves sanding. I mean, I love sanding. You should love sanding too. We're marking out the drill hole locations for the tuners and moving over to the drill press. And interesting, the lighting is rather blue in the shadows there. My camera is doing its own thing. So I'm using a brad tip bit, drilling from the face of the guitar like 95% of the way through, just where the tip comes out the back. I'll be flipping the neck over and using that little tip hole as pilot hole, using a larger gauge bit and routing out where the ferrule will press into the face of the headstock. I'm leaving the hole in the back, the smaller gauge, I think it's 9/32, just a little over 1/4 inch, which is closer to the string shaft size of the tuners that are going in this guitar. So we're making a little progress. A little bit of wood chips there too. Things are starting to look good. We're moving right along with the Mighty Mac 335 replacement neck. We've got our 3-ply laminated mahogany neck, headstock veneer put on, trim backs. We have just a little bit of a ledge for the nut there. Tuner holes drilled in for Kluson Customs. Takes an 11/32 hole on the top side for the insert that gets pressed in. And I used a 9/32 on the back, so the 1/4 inch diameter string post could slide through there easily. We are doing shaping on the neck. I have a custom shaping gauge set up to fit the profile that we want this neck to be in. It's going to be fatter, rounder on the bass side, and a little more tapered on the treble side, and it also needs to be 1 inch thick from the top of the fingerboard to the bottom of the neck, all the way back. So that's our goal. Right now I'm about 20 thousandths, 25 thousandths over, so I have to be careful as I go. It'd be really easy to over sand this as we continue the next project. After a little bit of a break, we're back at the beam. We have the neck strapped on the beam again, and I'm starting to work on the heel contour and also up by the volute a little bit more. A lot of sanding. What's nice is this neck is mahogany, and mahogany sands a very pleasant experience actually. So this is kind of enjoyable. So there we have our 3-ply mahogany laminated neck. Looks like we're going to be refreshing the fingerboard just a little bit. I have a extruded aluminum radius beam. That is from Philadelphia Luthier Supply, I believe. Really nice stuff. A little bit more affordable than the StewMac counterpart, which is almost identical. A little bit different, but very similar. Same purpose. And I think I have, what did I have on there? Probably 220 paper originally. I think we're looking at 600 grit paper now. Just cleaning up the radius a little bit, getting it back to the 12-inch. Verifying the radius, it looks like 12 all the way along. Yep, still 12. That looks like, 12. Imagine that. And now we're checking it for straight, making sure that there's no dips or waves in it. Life is good. Time for something that's almost as fun as sanding, and that is putting side marker dots in the binding. Quite often I forget to do this until the last minute, but not today. I'm ahead of the game. I have also been working on another neck about the same time, so I was kind of duplicating some processes between the two different necks. Yeah, I shouldn't have told you that, because that's like cheating. Using a little bit of acetone in the drill holes, and then I'll be pressing in the ABS, is it? Plastic side marker dot material. I do dip the tip of the side marker dot rod in acetone and then push it into the hole also. So there's a little bit of acetone in the hole before I push the rod in, and then the rod has a lid on, so everything kind of melts together. A little scraping cleanup, and we have marker dots. I was swapping some messages with the owner, and he goes, it'd be really nice to have like an 8-pound guitar, 7-pound guitar, something like that. And I was like, ooh, that's pretty light for a big body guitar. So I started weighing all the parts and, weighed the body and the neck and the state it's in, the fingerboard, the truss rod, the tuners, the pickups, electronics, everything I could think of, fret wire, threw it all in there. I came up with like 9.25 pounds. That's just loose pieces. It could go either way, slightly assembled. It is kind of what it is. And he goes, well, can we remove some weight? There's a big block of maple running through here. Can we remove some weight? And I'm like, well, that's kind of an extreme project. Maybe a little bit. I can get maybe 3/4 pound out if I do kind of a weird punch holes through the side and drill through the center block, relieve some weight. I said, or, maybe I can do an extreme thing and remove more. I said, did it be scary? You'd have to look away. He goes, I'm cool with that. Cut away. Do what you got to do. Let's try and make this lighter. So I said, maybe I can save 1 pound. So I'm hoping to get us in around 8.25 pounds, maybe? Oh boy, what have I got myself into? I'm crazy. I'm going to try and separate the binding on the back from the body, and then separate the back panel from the big center spline going through it. I've done some research online, and everybody says, no, you cannot do it. Well, that just means, yes, I can do it. I just don't know how to do it yet. So let's figure it out as we continue the next project. So, boldly going where everyone has told me not to go, and my process would differ if it were a different brand of guitar also. Since this is an Epiphone, I know pretty much what kind of finish they have on it, which is probably like a polyester sealer, which is pretty thick, built up, and then it will have a urethane of some sort final finish, both the color and clear coats. And underneath all of that is the binding and the body lumber itself. So I originally started by trying to score through the paint finish right along where the binding edge would be. The finish on this guitar is thick enough that my scoring tool really wasn't getting through it. So after a little bit of a failed attempt, I decided to go back and scrape away some of the finish to get down closer to the binding itself. Now this is the back of the guitar. I'm taking the binding off, remember. We're removing the back. using a sharp X-Acto knife and now trying to score/cut between the body and the side of the body and the binding, heating it up with a heat gun. The binding's actually peeling off pretty good now, so it's taken some time, but we're getting there. This is fun for me because I've never done this before, and I'm glad the owner had the faith to say go ahead and do what you got to do to open it up. So we've got all the binding off. I'm using the heat gun again now to heat the glue between the side, the kerfing, and the back. And what I'm hoping to do is get the glue soft enough so the back will pop off the top edge of the side and the kerfing. If you don't know what kerfing is, it's like a strip of wood that's got a bunch of little cuts in it, and it's glued to the inside of the sides and also attaches to both the top and the back body panels. That's pretty confusing. Anyway, I'm heating it up to soften the glue and working various thin tools around to help split the glue seam, and then also some thin veneer wedges to put in there just so the glue wouldn't accidentally try to stick back together. So we've gotten all the way around. The sides are now loose. Well, no, I should rephrase that. The back is loose of the sides. The back is still stuck to the center block though. Now here we go. This is where I really don't know how I'm going to approach it. This is one of 3 ideas I had. First, I was just going to hopefully heat it up and get the glue that's sticking the back to that center block to soften up and let loose. And after about 5 minutes, I was like, well, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but all of a sudden the putty knife and everything started to slide in further and further. I was starting to get encouraged. But then I got to the point where I didn't have a long enough putty knife. I was getting down, quarter to a third of the way from the back edge, and I had to come up with an idea of what else I was going to use. Here I'm using a stainless steel 18-inch ruler, but now I'm using, I think it's about an 1/8 inch thick by 1 1/4 inch wide piece of flat strap iron. And as I heat it up, the glue's letting go of the back and able to wiggle that flat chunk of strap iron down in there. When I got all done with this, I was like, I should have rounded the edge of that strap iron, made it like a big butter knife. I didn't do it. Next time I will. This point I didn't, and ooh, look at that. Oh, it just popped loose. Right about now I'm going, thank goodness. I was really hoping something good would happen, and we got very lucky with this. So the back is loose from the sides and the top. And there we go. That's what the inside of an Epiphone 335 looks like. It's also a little bit surprising. The overall construction is very nice, but I have to say that a lot of these guitars get put together pretty fast. Yes, they could pay a little more attention to certain details, but that's all right. That's why we're here. We're going to fix up some things that maybe were a little overlooked by the factory. We're ready to move on to the next part. Taking just a little bit of time to scrape away some of the factory glue that was applied all the way around the edge, and also right down the middle of the back, the part that glued the back panel to that center block, using a card scraper or cabinet scraper to basically shave away any glue residue and try to start cleaning up some of the various scars. There's some kind of clear coat that had sprayed through control holes. From the front onto the inside of the back. And overall, I'm really happy with this. We didn't damage the back in any way. The laminated back is still in one piece, so we're in pretty good shape. We need to start figuring out where everything is going to go, and so I know where I can and where I cannot remove lumber from on that center block. we are going to be adding a vibrola to this, so I need to figure out where it mounts to the body so I can safely cut everything else away. The neck is ready to glue in. It's just clamped at the moment, temporarily. But the project is now going to be adding a Gibson-style vibrola tremolo system to this guitar, which is a good time to find out now, because we are going to be looking at a different style bridge for this, going from the typical Gibson-style tunematic type bridge to probably a roller bridge, which very often are a little bit taller by maybe 2 millimeters taller. So knowing that I'm going to need a taller bridge means I need to compensate neck angle to meet the bridge that's a little bit taller. But now we're adding a vibrola tremolo system, which is, we're going to top mount that to the body. Not going to do an end pin style hinge mount. It's all going to be on the top. Freddie King suggested that, actually. We'll get to that later. So good time to find out all these things. We're going to have, now I need to map out where my mounting points are and start routing some weight relief out of the body as we continue the next project. So the carnage is about to begin. I have to hatch yet another plan. I have blocked the body up so it's not rocking and rolling all over. I have found a couple long strips of MDF that's 1/2 inch thick and a couple inches wide. When I stick those to the sides of the body, it props everything up high enough that I can get my router in there with that acrylic deck on it. So I'm able to create some scrap wood guides and use various bits with guide bearings. Also using Forstner bit on my drill to hog away a lot of the extra material just so I don't have to work so hard with the router. You've seen me do this both ways. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to use the router and I have sawdust everywhere. Other times I use the Forstner bit and I have sawdust everywhere. Kind of hit and miss. Today I'm actually using the Forstner bit and actually a vacuum cleaner. I'm vacuuming out some of the sawdust and wood chips and stuff. That's really not like me. I don't know what's going on. Why am I cleaning up after myself? That's kind of weird. Anyway, we've got about an hour and a half wrapped up in getting the weight relief cut out of this body, and it went really well. So thank you very much for hanging out with me through this episode. I greatly appreciate it. There's more coming. Don't run off too far. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Hit the thumbs up button to let YouTube know you like this kind of stuff. Ring the bell for future notifications. And please, 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 please leave comments. Love hearing from everybody all around the world. Until next time, take care of yourself and those around you. Bye.